My name is Chris, and today we're going to try and answer the question, how much is too much for brand new records? Welcome to the Vinyl Attack. A while back, a friend and I were having a conversation about how much we're willing to pay for a new album. I was getting frustrated that new LPs were now around the $30 to $35 mark, and the quality therein was not what I'd expect for the price. He, on the other hand, just kind of has a what can you do attitude, of which, if I'm being a little honest, I'm a little jealous. My quest for absolute perfect sound, which of course does not exist, but I try, was in conflict with what I was being offered for the money. I wouldn't think twice. I kept telling myself if only the quality of the record was worth the 35 bucks I'm being asked to shell out. Then came my litmus test. Enter Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs, or as we all call them, Mofi. Mofi has been around for ages, but in 1977 they started producing what they call original master recordings. These are albums originally released by other companies and then licensed to Mofi to be remastered by their engineers and cut with half-speed mastering. This process, along with their methodology of removing compression using minimal EQ, was geared toward getting the very best in sound quality that a record could have. They teamed up with then powerhouse JVC to press these albums on what they called super vinyl. It was developed by JVC and was a far more durable vinyl that had a much lower noise floor than anything around at the time, which was perfect for the Mofi records. Fast forward to today, and this process is still happening, although the new super vinyl is only used on their one-step records, and it's a very different animal than the one made by JVC. More on that in a minute. So one day, while I'm wasting some time on the internet, or doing research as I like to call it, I came across an ad that informed me that the Dire Straits' self-titled album was back in stock at Mofi. Now, I'd heard of Mofi for a long time, but for some reason I just kind of put it out of my head. The idea of paying their prices didn't make sense to me then. So I clicked on the ad and I read up what I'd be getting for my $50. An amount, mind you, I've never paid for a new LP, and I never had any intention of doing so. After some hemming and hawing, I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on the Mofi album. Ordering direct from Mofi, I received my order in short order. Thankfully, their base is in Chicago, just a short jaunt from my home in Michigan. Immediately, you'll notice how nice the gatefold cover is. A gatefold, mind you, that is over a quarter of an inch thick. Its high gloss finish with high quality photos on thick cardstock simply feel good in the hand. And after reading over the cover and the inside gatefold, I pulled out the record. Here, I encountered something I hadn't before. Mofi took the trouble to wrap the album not only in their high quality inner sleeves, but inside another folded piece of cardstock for support. Now, this inner gatefold, for lack of a better term, contained a host of information that pretty much amounted to nothing more than being a giant commercial for itself, but hey, who can blame them? They're selling a top-notch product and doing a stellar job of keeping it safe and sound, so this really impressed me. From here, I gave it a clean in my ultrasonic and went straight to the turntable to see if the sound matched the packaging. It didn't. As good as the cover looked and felt, the sound was even better. I was completely amazed. I have other high-quality pressings, and they're all fantastic, but this was simply different. The dynamics of this album absolutely floored me. The nuance of the guitars, the depth of the kick drum, even the breathy notes being sung in a quiet passage were all clear and had presence. The noise floor seemed impossibly low, and I was an instant fan. So what happened next? Well, if a $50 pressing was this good, how would their top-of-the-line one-step album sound? If you're unfamiliar with what a one-step album is, here's the deal. A record-making process generally consists of 5 steps. The lacquer original is cut directly from the audio source with a lathe. Then, with electroplating, a father is created, which is a negative of the lacquer. A mother positive comes next, and finally, they make a negative stamper from the mother that will press a high volume of the vinyl LPs from there. Mofi eliminates the mother and stamper process entirely using what they call a convert. That comes directly from the lacquer, hence one step, as the stamper is now only one step removed from the original lacquer. This reduction in step keeps the convert, which will now press the records directly, as close to the original lacquer as is humanly possible to exact every last available detail. This is one of the reasons for the high cost of these albums. The convert stamper doesn't last very long before wearing out, and more need to be made, resulting in higher production and material usage. They pressed these records on their new super vinyl, which was developed by Neotech and RTI Records in California, which is perhaps the finest pressing plant around. According to their press release a few years back, this vinyl is made to the most exacting specifications possible. It purports to be like nothing we've ever heard, and it itself is very expensive to produce. The goal here was to create a vinyl that addressed 2 specific areas of improvement: noise floor reduction and enhanced groove definition. It boasts a composition of carbonless dye, which makes the record transparent when held to light, which is actually kind of cool, and produces the world's quietest vinyl record surface, according to them. Perhaps an even bolder claim is that the formula produces the creation of grooves so clean they are indistinguishable from the original lacquer. Add that to the one-step process, and this is said to be the finest record pressing available in the world today. That's great and all, but what does all this techno jargon have to do with an expensive record? Well, this. This is the Mofi One Step of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble's Couldn't Stand the Weather. It is 2 LPs cut to play at a 45 speed with fewer songs per side to allow for greater clarity and richer dynamics. It is a limited run of 7,000 and it cost me $125. Brand new from the factory. No markup, no middleman, no eBay shenanigans. $1.25 for one brand new record. Well, 2 because of the dual 45s, but you know what I mean. So how does this sound? Well, as you can see, I have no idea. I've waited to open it on camera for you to experience with me firsthand what's inside. After that, I'm taking it straight to my ultrasonic for a clean, and then I'm going to spend some time with it before I come back to you to give you all a review. So, let's dig in. I have another camera set up again. Hopefully that works as well as last time, because that was all brand new to me, and it was a pain in the butt to edit that at first, but that's okay. So, this is actually thicker plastic than I would think for a record. And on the back we have a Mofi logo that is a hologram kind of a foil. It shows the Ultradisc One Step and also 1547 out of 7,000. That's not bad. The front is pretty much what you would expect. This is it's a matte finish. I worry a touch about fingerprints, but I don't know if I'm going to be handling the box so much. This is a nice gold foil that wraps all the way around the side. So, taking the lid off, we've got foam, which I guess is good to protect the record. Well, look at that. So they've explained in detail what the one-step process is, hopefully better than I explained it, but also the center of this disc and the center of this disc are also gold foil stamped. See if you can see that in the light or not. So that's kind of neat that they include this, so to kind of let you know what's going on. This is the cover. Looks like it honestly was trimmed a little short here. I mean, which is fine. I'm not too terribly worried about that, but it's just one of those things. It's funny, for $125. Song list, so side 2, Voodoo Child, all by itself. That is actually going to be good news. I'll probably play side 2 of disc 1 nonstop. This is a fantastic album. This looks pretty good. I can't tell what this compares to the original because I don't have the original in front of me. Perhaps I should have brought down a CD with me. So here is the case, or the slip case, to the disc. Wow, this is made with the same matte, it's almost velvety in feel as the outside of the box. Of course, we have more gold stamping all across the back, which is fantastic. Cover is on the front, shrunk down, which is also, it's also clipped at the bottom here. I wonder if it was actually on the original. So let's see what we have inside, because I'm dying to know. See, this is what I was talking about. See how they've sandwiched this in between another set of cardboard. So I don't know if you want to call that a mini gatefold, an inner gatefold, whatever it is, but I like that they do this because this goes one step further from protecting the record from the elements. And then, of course, you have the record in one of their original master sleeves. Well, I guess you can see it in that camera. So, one of the things I've been dying to check out in person, because I've never done this and I've seen it a few times, is a little bit of static on this. Oh yeah, I can already see my hand straight through there. That's crazy. So I have a light here, and hopefully this won't blind. I'm going to try this 2 ways. I'm going to do an upshot into the above camera and then directly at the main camera to see. I don't want to blind anybody here, but this will show you how transparent this album is. Let me try that on the main camera if I can do. This is tricky. There we go. Hopefully you can see that, otherwise I'm making a giant fool of myself and all of this will be edited out. But in person, I can easily look through this and I can see it's it's practically clear, but it's not clear vinyl because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but clear vinyl, clear records generally sound like poop. They just aren't made very well. This, on the other hand, as I've mentioned earlier, is supposed to be some of the best stuff that you can get anywhere in the entire world. So that's the first one. I'm assuming the second one is just the same. Let's take a look. I want to see what shape that record is in well, because the other one looks flat. So I've got a minor, as you can see, I've got a minor split right there. Well, it's not a split, but a little bit of creasing and cracking, which again, I'm not concerned. To me, that's superficial. There are certain things that when you spend a lot of money, like $125 for one damn album, you want it to be 100% perfect, certainly. And I can understand and relate to that. But this, I'm never going to sell this. I'm not interested in really selling my records that I listen to. I have on occasion bought an album that I know or, well, had a good idea would be worth some money, maybe to sell it, make a couple of bucks, but then I turn around and buy more records anyway. I don't do this as a side hustle. I don't do this to make money. I do record collecting because I truly enjoy the music and I want to listen to it. Even you know what? If you look at the inner sleeve, I guess that's what you call it, is a slipcase or an inner sleeve. What's a slipcase? They've labeled right here the LP number and the name of the band and the album right on the side of the jacket, which is kind of nice. I might put everything else in the box and then put these into their own separate protective covers and then just pull these out when I want to listen to them and leave the box alone. That's kind of my guess. We have another inside mini gatefold, whatever you want to call that. And then, of course, the last record. And what I didn't check with the last one is, yeah, that's as level as that can be, that's for sure. The see-through is going to kill me. Every time I look at that, that's going to be fantastic. Now, I can see on here, and I don't know, I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to pick this up on camera. There is the very slightest of scuffs right here and right here. Oh, and there's a little bit over here. That's just surface stuff. That is not going to get into the grooves. That is not going to cause any problems with the sound or the playback because the needle gets so far into the grooves, you don't really have to worry about that kind of stuff. You don't want to have surface damage as much as possible, of course, but if you have minor scrapes, it doesn't affect the playback so long as they're not gouges of any kind. But this is pretty special. Would I do this again? Would I buy another record for $125? Well, I can't tell you until I play this. I can tell you that I would 100%, without doubt, go ahead and buy another one of their regular what do they call those? The original master recordings. It's not a one step, just the regular original master recordings. For $50 for one of those albums, I can't even get this back in. For $50 for one of those albums, I would do that again without thinking. Matter of factly, I'm kind of hoping that they start to step the catalog up a little bit because Mofi does have a bit of a tendency to announce, hey, these things are coming soon, and then they don't show up for, could be a couple of years. Lately, they seem to have been on the ball a little bit. I don't think they announced the Run DMC all that far ago, and then that came out in short order. I remember I got a notice for that. It was a direct email from Mofi right to my inbox, and I read it, and I immediately got off of my butt and went to my computer. I guess I could have ordered it from my phone, but I'm old, so whatever. I ran into my office, and I immediately ordered it, and it showed up within a week, and I believe, was that numbered? I don't think that was numbered. But anyway, that's another one that is an absolute classic and is in fantastic condition. So this is the quick and dirty review, I suppose, and a minor history lesson of Mofi Records and what they do. And I'll tell you again, I would definitely pay the $50. Let's see if I would pay $125. If this sounds as good as the presentation has been, I would. And I'm going to come back to you guys, and I will let you know, and I'll probably do a full-on separate review and let you know what I think. In the meantime, let me know. Do you have any of the Mofi stuff? Do you have any of the One Steps? Do you have any of their regular ones? Because they have silver and gold, actually, releases as well. Do you have any of their super audio CDs? I still want to get an SACD player. I don't have one. They're very expensive. Says the guy who just bought a $1,500 preamp. At any rate, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know if you guys have any of this stuff or if you're interested in it. And until then, I look forward to next time.